This is a timeline of a whole fight, and by following these steps you'll win more and more whole fights. The best way to start a whole fight is ledge dashing, which can end the fight immediately. However, sometimes both players will be above the obsidian. If this happens, hit them so you can do a D-tap, which might get the kill. The goal is to get a pop ASAP so you can get a fire res on them. Whole fights normally go two ways. First is a fire stalemate. Some people just try to crystal, but they can fail as it's not consistent, but other times it can work, but instead you should use anchors. The second way is getting a pop at the start. If your opponent gets the first pop, then you should play to get a pop so you can crystal better, like elevator anchors, digging a hole and anchor, or timing the fire tick. After your first pop, you should try to improve your position or attack if you see fit. Improving your position could be pearl flashing, applying slowfall, drinking milk to remove fire res, using anchors to apply pressure so you can move to a more ideal place, or using them to change the terrain to make crystal easier. This is the period where you want to do as much damage as possible with crystals. Normally you would use anchors as a positional tool, but if you're far away and need a pop without risking the counter attack, then anchors excel at that. To get as many pops as possible, you should use crystals to achieve this, and you should use anchors to stall time. If you do get crystals, stay in your inventory to totem as it saves time. If they block off, crystal them if they have not been popped recently. If they have, then anchor as it sets up a stronger attack but takes more time. If they're a few blocks away, then you can get them on a ledge by sprint hitting them. This is useful if they use double blast drop. And if they pearl to you instead of block off, the pearl will get moved by the explosion and you can still pop them. If you're winning, you should be very cautious and use things like safe anchors. You can also face place and spam crystals, or critting someone out in a hole. But there is a more effective way, as each crit does 1 half. But if you have a breach mace, and if you use the cooldown trick, you can do 2.5 times more damage. This is because breach reduces armor effectiveness by 50% per level. So at the end, you can use the power of the cooldown of the sword and the enchantment on the mace. If you are losing, try to get a kill even if it's risky, like jumping to anchor, or spamming anchors, or piling to them. When anchoring, use a totem to explode anchors, as you can explode more when you're holding it. If you can crystal while strafing, do it, as it can mess with some people's crystalling. Finally, if you're low, jump on fire as it does less damage. Go watch another, and if you're still here, subscribe.